Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Terri Cole Show that I want to start with a question. Have you experienced a major relational trauma and no longer trust anyone because you're afraid that you'll make the same sort of bad decisions again in relationships? Or maybe you were taught that you had no right to privacy and experienced multiple sort of violations from family members growing up around your privacy. Or maybe you had close friends let you down. Middle school can be hell for people with betrayal. Maybe you feel happier alone, or that's what you tell yourself, or it's just easier to be alone. There are any number of areas in our lives that we could have major breaches of trust, romantic relationships just being one of them, right? Partner cheating, monitoring you, continually lying to you. Those are all breach of trust as well, but they're not the only area. So regardless of what you've experienced, I've heard from lots and lots of you out here from the interwebs who feel like you just can't trust anyone, that you're scared of having the same outcome in future relationships or friendships. It's like you've been burned in the trust area. And listen, it makes sense, right? When our trust is broken, it can really change the way that we view the world and how we interact with others, right? There's this desire to be safe. It leads us to distrust ourselves too. I know that for me, any bad relationship that I was in when I was younger, I would turn it in and be like, well, that's what you get for being an idiot. How could I have been so blind? The truth was right in front of me because in my younger life, there was a lot of red flags that I chose sort of not to see because I didn't want to be alone. So I was in bad relationships and then the person betrayed me and then I blamed myself. Anyway, either way, when our trust is broken, it is painful as hell. But it's something that we need to learn how to trust again. So in this video, I'm sharing 6 steps to help you tackle trust issues and start to heal so that you can begin trusting yourself again, right? In future relationships and identify emotionally trustworthy people as well. So if you happen to be new here to my YouTube channel, hi, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, the author of Boundary Boss and the Boundary Boss Workbook, and the new book, Too Much, that's coming out in October, all about how to break the cycle of high-functioning codependency. I think you can pre-order that right now. Go to Amazon. Too Much by Terri Cole. Anyway, I'm super excited. It drops October 15th. But I wrote it for you guys. I think you're going to love it. All right, so before we get into it, if you happen to be new to my YouTube channel, say hello. People are very friendly here. Make sure that you hit the bell icon and make sure that you subscribe so that you get notified every time I roll out new stuff, which is every Tuesday and every Thursday. And you also want to make sure that you're subscribed because I want you to be subscribed. That's why. I want to say thank you for all your comments and your questions. It's the best, and I love to highlight them, which I'm going to do right now. This is Femery 1182, and this is under the video, How to Liberate Yourself from Overgiving and Overdoing. And Femery 1182 says, thank you. Your impact on my life, sanity, and growth has been profound. So excited for the new book. Why, thanks, Femery 1182. I'm excited too. Woohoo! All right, people, maybe we should move it on into today's content. So, trust. Let's cover how we're going to cover it. So step 1, the first thing we have to do is understand why you are relating to trust the way that you are right now. So we're going to uncover your trust blueprint. And of course, you guys, this is an episode where you're going to be wanting to get the guide, terricole.com/guide, because there's going to be a lot of doing for you in this episode. And I want to make sure you don't miss anything. So I take the notes for you because I'm nice like that. Anyway, so we're uncovering the blueprint. How do we do that? You have to look at what did trust mean in your family of origin? Was there a lot of trust? Was there not a lot of trust? Were people trustworthy? Was there trust between the primary caregivers? Was there trust between the siblings and other close relatives? Did your parents keep their word to each other? Did your parents keep your word, or the adults in your life? Because obviously it doesn't have to be biological parents. But did they keep their word to you? Or were you sort of left holding the bag where people would make promises and not follow through? Because when you uncover what's in your trust blueprint, now you go, oh, okay, so this is my foundational relationship to trust. This is actually what it is, which makes sense. Because you know how we can be so hard on ourselves, like, why am I like this? Or how could I get into another situation like this? Or whatever we're making ourselves feel shitty about. Where when you look at your downloaded blueprint, you go, oh, Me having trust issues makes perfect sense given my history, you know? And you may not even realize how your experiences impact you until way later in your life. So step 2, we're going to learn from the past. So what does this mean? If you are experiencing what I call repeating relationship realities, meaning you're in a different relationship, but wow, it feels the same. Because I've had clients who've every partner they've had has been unfaithful. So Christine Langley Oba says, we repeat what we do not repair. And this is so true. So this is not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding, right? We look at it therapeutically. We're bringing unconscious material into the conscious mind around betrayal and trust. So you're going to be looking at the similarities in the relationships where you ignored the red flags, as I just told you I did when I was in my 20s, right? Who did that person remind you of? And I'll give you these questions in the guide, terricole.com/guide. Because when we really start to break down the repeating relationship realities, and you'll use the 3 cues for clarity, I call it, this tool that you'll use to sort of see, are you having a transference or what are you repeating? It can be so illuminating, and it can help you not do it again, right? We're really looking to change these patterns of attracting untrustworthy folks into our lives. Another thing to look at is your 50% of all of the experiences, right? Because that's how we become empowered to trust more, is understanding, where did I drop the ball on this? Where did I not tell the truth? Where did I not have a conversation with this person that I needed to when their behavior was shady? By identifying where we sort of dropped the ball, it helps us, if we do it with curiosity and compassion, instead of doing it with meanness and like, why am I an idiot feeling, the compassion piece is so important. Here, if we want to change anything, if you want to be in more trusting relationships, you've got to understand why you've been in the ones that you've been in, you know? So beware of the tendency to project your own positive traits. This is another one that I find a lot in my therapy clients, is that we do what is called positive projection. And I say we because I did this all the time in my young life, where I would project my good qualities of trustworthiness onto other people. I would assume everyone was like me. The same morals, the same values. Like if I wouldn't do something crappy to someone, I would make the erroneous assumption many times that they wouldn't do that crappy thing to me. And then I would turn around in my young, painful life and they would have done that crappy thing to me. So we want to be really aware of positive projection. Step 3, to building more self-trust and trust in relationships. We have to stay present to the here and now. So yes, we'll go back in time, right? Because we want to look at what happened. We want to understand. But there's a tendency to ruminate, to obsess over the people who've caused us harm or broken our trust, whether that is a parent, a parental impactor, a sibling, or a romantic relationship. So think about what you're doing when we're ruminating. We are reliving those experiences, right? So your body doesn't know the difference. So the same hormones that get released when you're having a painful experience or a stressful experience, when we're thinking about the thing that they did, the wrong thing that they did to us again, we're doing the same exact thing. We are caught in the past. What we're doing for our body is not good because this creates issues in your tissues, as Chris Carr would say. But what we really need to do is stay in the here and now. We go back in time to learn from the past, which I'll give you stuff that you're doing in the guide, terricole.com/guide, to do that. But you really can't build better relationships if you're continually ruminating about past. You just can't do it. So what can also be very helpful here to stay present is meditation. So I talk a little bit more about that in the guide as well. Step 4, and this is major, clear boundaries and practicing clear communication, because boundaries are such a major part of trust. And when we don't set our own boundaries, it's like we're setting ourselves up to be annihilated by other people when we don't let people know what our expectations are. So what does this look like? So what I say, right? Your boundaries, I want you to think of them as your own personal rules of engagement, letting other people know what's okay and what's not okay with you. And you need to be clear about this before you can communicate them to others. Like, you need to know within yourself what those things are. So that is some work that you can do if you don't know. And not communicating or knowing your boundaries leaves all of this room for others to get it wrong, right? They may not even be being a jerk about something, right? But we build resentment around them not reading our minds. We want them to know something that we haven't told them. And trust me, anytime we are making the people in our life guess what it is that we want or what it is that we need, I promise you, they are going to get that wrong. That's just the way that it is, right? So in the guide, I'm giving you the Boundary Boss Bill of Rights again, and I want you to familiarize yourself with that. Just knowing you have a right to set boundaries, to set limits, to change your mind, to make mistakes, to take care of yourself. That's basically what the Boundary Boss Bill of Rights, and there's a few more there. But I feel like we don't realize that in not setting boundaries, we set ourselves up to be resentful, right? So anytime that you're feeling resentment in your relationships, there's a good indication you probably need to set a boundary, or a boundary that you have set is being violated, or some kind of a need is getting unmet. So we can give an example. So if your friend always expects you to pick them up or drop them off, and you're not telling them that you don't want to be the designated driver all the time, you have to tell the truth about how you feel. If they get upset with you that you don't want to do that anymore, that really says more about them than it does about you. But the truth is that the more honest you are in your relationships, the more people will know you intimately. Because here's the thing, here's the problem with having disordered boundaries and not telling the truth about what we want, how we feel, what we think, is that the people in our lives ultimately do not know us. And if they do not know us, how will we ever feel satisfied in a relationship, right? If they don't know us, how can they ever truly love us if we never let them authentically know us? This is a real problem. And it's also a problem with trust, because by not being truthful about our boundaries, we are having lack of trust for the people in our lives, right? We don't trust that either they care, or we don't trust the relationship to be healthy enough to withstand our boundary requests. But here's the thing, you guys, listen, if you're in a relationship and that relationship blows up because you set a boundary, that relationship was fully built on your self-abandonment, right? Which is not okay. We can't do that consistently and be happy in life. And also someone taking advantage of that. I mean, it's a combination, right? It takes two to tango. So if you're not telling the truth about how you feel, they can't possibly know. But you know that when you have disordered boundaries, at least this was my experience, I had a tendency to attract takers. When I was an uber giver, like indiscriminately, I had a tendency to attract people who were like, ooh, this is a never-ending well of goodness from this person. Amazing. That's what I want, you know? And the truth about your relationships is that the earlier you set your boundaries, the more info you learn about someone. Isn't it better to know in the beginning? If you setting a boundary is going to blow to high heaven, isn't it better to know it early on? I'm going to say, yes, it is. Because now you're not invested 5 years, 10 years, right? Or whatever it is that you could be. All right, step 5, commit to self-mastery. You need to deeply know yourself. This is the truth and so much about what is missing. You got to take the time to understand why you feel and interact with other people the way that you do. So the trust blueprint that's in the guide will help you. Also, I'll ask you to journal about your relationship to trust and any significant experiences of broken trust that come to mind. So this will be something, and don't worry, I have all the instructions for you in the guide itself, because becoming aware of these deep truths, this means that you can decide to do something differently in your life. You have the ability to change what it is that you're doing, but you have to know it to change it. I had a bunch of bad boyfriends when I was younger, but I had a boyfriend who broke my trust, and I found out about it in a very humiliating and embarrassing way. So I was a talent agent. I was dating someone who was an idiot and went to a party where we knew a lot of people and made out with someone else in the party. So I actually heard from another one of my clients. Now, you guys, it would have been so much better had it been maybe another agent, but I was a talent agent, and one of my other clients was like, hey, I saw so-and-so at a house party last night. Is so-and-so your boyfriend? I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, he was making out with so-and-so. So that was a really painful experience because it wasn't just that he broke my trust. It was that I felt like publicly humiliated by the experience as well. I mean, soon after that, I broke up with that person, but it's painful to be on the receiving end of that. And I found myself carrying that distrust into the next relationship some, where I was a little bit more dialed into what my person was doing than I would normally have been because I was worried that I was going to have that same embarrassing humiliation again. And maybe you identify with that, and maybe you've had that experience. Number 6, we're going to take a self-trust inventory because what I find is that self-trust is one of the major things that's missing when we have trust issues. And that is something that, especially if you're a people pleaser or a high-functioning codependent, us HFCs, we have a tendency to be wanting to please others, meaning we will self-abandon to do that. And this breaks our trust with ourselves because we know I cannot count on you to protect me or to say to no when we're exhausted or to not do things I don't want to do. I mean, I have clients who stayed in relationships because they didn't want to hurt the other person for like 3 additional years. And that there is broken self-trust there because we have to be our own highest priority. We have to be. You set the bar, right? How you treat yourself sets the bar for how everyone else in your life is going to treat you. And so we really need that bar to be set high. So don't worry. I'm going to give you questions in the guide. This is a very robust guide, you guys. So you want to get it, terricole.com/guide. Last note, take your time. Go slow. Right? You don't have to rush into new relationships or new friendships right now. Let people reveal themselves slowly over time. Set boundaries. Make a simple request. People will show you who they are. So just take your time. Watch to see. Do the words match up with the actions? If they don't, you can very neutrally call them out on it. Oh, I thought you said you were going to call me on Friday. You will see if the person goes, oh my God, you're so right. I was gonna, and I didn't. I'm so sorry. Listen, you got to remember that not everybody deserves to be in the VIP section of your life. All of our adult relationships are voluntary people. So if there are people who are in your VIP section who are untrustworthy and don't belong there, it might be time to clean it up. Practice discernment, right? Watch out for signs of manipulation that other people might be showing you, but you're just not wanting to see. I've done an entire episode about that, so I will make sure that that's in the show notes. And learn to trust your intuition over time too, right? We're going to break down your previous experiences. This helps you understand like, oh, that's how that happened. That's how I ended up in that experience. But the most important part of this is you holding yourself in high esteem, having healthy boundaries, communicating what you want and what you need. Because when you do it, you are sending out a different signal. You are so much less likely to attract people who are untrustworthy when you start to become trustworthy to yourself. So anyway, I hope that this episode of The Terri Cole Show motivated you and inspired you because I'm feeling all kinds of inspired from it. I hope you guys have the most amazing week learning to trust yourself more. And as always, take care of you.